14 fights, 12 wins, 7 inside the distance. Let's have a look at the tail of the tape and how they stack up. 9 years between the two men, and Daniel Lovett with a distinct height and reach advantage. Adrian Bellin, very low centre of gravity, a nuggety fighter, a very exciting fighter.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very hard for him, but coming back, first fight back against Daniel Lovett.
It's a big call. His last fight, Bellin, was February 14, Valentine's Day, 2004. And that was a first-round knockout win over Fijian Iobi Ladua. His last fight before that was November of 2000, and that was a loss to Paul Briggs. He also beat Jamie Meyer in the year 2000. Has a victory over Sam Solomon, does Adrian Bellin. Not too many people can boast that. That was a split decision victory going all the way back to November of 1997. There is Adrian Bellin, and despite the fact he's been out of the ring for quite some time, looks as fit and as ready as we have seen for quite some time. Led to the ring by a man they call the Silver Fox, Paul Fifield, a name synonymous with boxing and kickboxing in Australia. The Silver Fox. Young man that knows how to hold the hands up himself. A great ambassador for our sport, and has been for many years now. This is Adrian Bellin, 32 years of age. He's an operations manager at Werribee Party Hire, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. And at 32 has decided he wants a little bit of boxing back in his life. 21 bouts, 16 wins, 114 career rounds. Once again, our referee and man in the middle will be Gary Ingraham, our 3 ringside judges, Carl Zapier, David Marsh and Bobby Main. Here's Daniel Porky Lovett, trained by Jimmy Slatter at the Berwick Boxing Club in Berwick, and Jimmy and Brian Slatter, Justin Footage, bringing him to the ring here tonight. 2 Victorians fighting on a card in WA. Daniel Lovett is going to know he's been in a fight when he gets back to the motel tonight, because Adrian Bellin is very much a front foot fighter. Very tough young man, looks in great physical condition. Daniel Lovett certainly always is, and is well supported here in the West as we go once again to Howard Lee.
It's our semi-main event. Green Machine Promotions at Challenge Stadium in Perth brings together an all-Victorian affair. We know that the Victorians didn't reach the finals of the AFL, but they're still boxing, they're still fighting on. 8 rounds in the light heavyweight division. Introducing first on my right, occupying the red corner, with manager Joe Curcio and Brendan the Pacer, joining the Silver Fox, Paul Fifield. He lives in Yarraville in Melbourne's western suburbs. Only 2 John Worsfold drop punt kicks from the Winton Oval, the Western Bulldogs Footscray's home in the AFL. At 32 years of age, works in a party hire company, wearing trunks of black and red, Essendon Bombers colours. Ladies and gentlemen, former Australian Cruiserweight champion. He beat Sam King Solomon to win the Cruiserweight Championship in 1997. He's also fought Tosca Petrides and world title challenger Paul Briggs in a record of 21 fights, 16 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses, 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Would you welcome to Perth for the first time, Adrian Boom Boom Bellin. And in the blue corner, Justin Footage, joining Team Slatter from the Boxers Corp in Oakley, Melbourne, wearing trunks of blue and white stripe. He works as a concreter, holder, IBF, Pan-Pacific and IBO Asia Pacific Middleweight Championship. Former Victorian Super Middleweight Champion at 79 kilograms even. Number 5 in Sugar Ray Whitley's World of Boxing rankings in the Junior Light Heavyweight division. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome back to Perth, Daniel Porky Lovett. Your referee in charge of the action, Gary Abraham. Your judges are David Marsh, Bobby Lane and Carl Zappia. Let's get it on.
Gary Ingraham is going to call both young men centering. Daniel Lovett, 23, Adrian Bellin at 32 years of age.
Okay, boys, I spoke to you both in the dressing room. Protect yourself at all times and obey my commands at all times, okay? Let's touch gloves and go.
No stare down there.
Carl, you're right.
Daniel Lovett was happy just to keep loose.
Bobby, you're right.
Look at the referee, Gary Ingraham. Didn't want any eye-to-eye contact with Adrian Bellin. Certainly nothing wrong with that. It's each fighter to his own.
Expect Bell to come out firing in the first round. You see in his eyes, he really wants to get going. He was waiting for that bell to ring.
Good percentage of knockouts to his wins. 12 inside the distance for Adrian Bellin. 16 victories. When he retired from the sport, or semi-retired in 2000, he's just 27 years of age, and at a time in his career we thought there's certainly a lot yet ahead in the career of Adrian Bellin.
He has come out firing, which you expect him to do. That's the way he fights.
Two big punching light heavyweights too.
Push, mate, no push.
Daniel Lovett, whilst it may not appear that way, visually weighed in about 1.5 kilograms heavier at 80.1 kilos. Adrian Bellin at 78.6. You'd suggest probably with a pasta last night and a nice big breakfast this morning, maybe 82.5 kilos would be what they're standing at the moment.
No doubt. I mean, you can tell on Porky's body, you can tell he's beefed up a bit.
Horrible nickname, isn't it, for a boxer, Porky? Horrible nickname for a commentator too, just quietly, and I'm not talking about you. Neither guy's going to have to go too far to find the other. They're quite happy to stand in front of each other. Oh, a nice two-punch combination there from Lovett. Really well timed. Led with the leading left.
And again, beautifully done. Adrian's really got to get in close and fight on the inside, as he's the smaller man. He's very dangerous in there, especially throwing through the body.
Giving away a couple of inches is Adrian in both height and reach.
A great left hook by Bellin there.
Amazing me here at ringside for two Victorians just how much support there is for both camps. Telling shots there.
Bellin's taken them beautifully. A couple of beautiful punches there. Left hook, left hook, and took them very well.
Come as a big shock to Adrian Bellin, who hasn't fought for quite some time, getting up close to almost 20 months. And whilst you can be as gym fit as you like, there is nothing like actually doing rounds in the ring and being hit by an aggressive opponent.
It's a different story when you're in there. For the time that he's taken off, he doesn't look that rusty. He looks very good. He's throwing his punches beautifully.
He does look good.
He's landing them very nicely as well. It's a great left hook there, right in the middle.
And that could well be the weakness that Daniel Lovett is trying to expose here on Adrian Bellin as the two men touch gloves.
Great first round.
There's going to be one weakness in Adrian Bellin after so long out of the ring.
The body.
It could still well be the body.
Nice work, old son. He don't fucking lock it to the body, does he? Make sure that you don't head hunt. You know what I mean? Because the body is wide open. Keep your cool, keep boxing. It'll come out hard at the start of the round, but it'll go down. As he saw with that round, he come out bombing them and letting them go. Then he settles down and he slows down, all right? We know that.
Squirt some water on my chest.
All right, we know that. Just keep it very tight because he is letting him go.
Let's have a look at some of the action from the opening round, and Adrian Bellin, as Hussey pointed out earlier, taking an overhand right and then a rip down to the body, both from the left hand of Daniel Lovett. But by and large, took both of them well. Second round, we're scheduled for 8 here, our semi-main event at light heavyweight.
The instructions were great from Jimmy Slater. He just told him that he's going to come out firing for 1 or 2 rounds. Just slow him down and then he'll slow down by himself and then take over.
It's a very controlled corner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jimmy Slater. Lovett just sending the left hand twice, and Bellin snuck in with a left hand of his own to end that little flurry from both men.
I'm impressed with Daniel Porky's body punching. He's thrown nice left rips and left hook after it.
Current holder of the IBF Pan Pac Super Middleweight title is Daniel Lovett. Title he won with a second round knockout over Joel Burke in Newcastle dating back to September 05.
Back right. Step back, step back.
Very straight boxer, very direct as Daniel Lovett. Bellin, more angles on his punches, a little bit more roundhouse. That's just his style. He's a fighter, is Adrian Bellin.
Well, when he does bob and weave, he looks like a little Mike Tyson. It comes out with some great punches after him, so that's exactly what he needs to do. Bob and weaving close. Make it hard for Porky to come at him.
From AFL country, Adrian Bellin certainly has got that, I guess, stereotypical rugby league hooker's build, or a back rower perhaps. Low centre of gravity, very nuggety, thick in the legs. Taking a couple of shots there from Daniel Lovett. That's the experience there of Bellin. Just took a couple of punches and Lovett was close enough to just hold on to.
There's a cut over the eye of Bellin, the left eye is bleeding now to his eye, so this could be dangerous for him. Right eye, it's coming straight down his eyes.
Good shots from both men, really. Just trying to get a look at that cut over the right eye of Adrian Bellin.
Right under the brow.
Yeah, in a dangerous position. Our ringside doctor is Dr. Malcolm Rivers.
It doesn't look too good. Slowly starting to bleed heavily. It's going to give me problems coming straight into the eye.
Quite often when you see the doctor called in, Hussey, if the cut is above the eyebrow will disperse the majority of blood, but if it's under the eyebrow, in and around the eye, there is that potential there for further damage. Doctors tend to show a lot of caution, and rightfully so. Some nice shots there.
Beautiful left rip, really hurt Bellin there. Slowed him right down, pulled him back.
End of round number 2.
Let's hope the corner can do a good job and stop the cut.
And our ringside Dr. Malcolm Rivers is now heading over to that red corner of Adrian Bellin to have a look at the cut under the right eye, and it is a big cut too.
You've got to start working a little bit more in close, okay? He's starting to get 4 points there with that jab. Do not let him jab, okay? Right. He's going to bleed. This is going to bleed this round too, I think. Okay? Yeah, you let him jab you. You let him jab you there, mate. Don't let him fucking jab you.
Round number 3. Our semi-main event. We are scheduled for 8. Will it go to the judges' scorecard, or will we have another early night for these two young men? Bellin cut above the eye but below the brow, right-hand side, and a cut that seemed bad enough to attract the attention of our Dr. Malcolm Rivers, who said, let's fight on. For how much longer, I'm not sure.
Lovett seems to have settled in a bit now. He's starting to snap out his jab, a bit more relaxed. Really impressed with his body punching. He's really looking for a guy that's shorter than him. He's really finding his range and connecting beautifully.
Is Daniel Lovett cut, or is that blood from Adrian Bellin?
I think it's blood by the looks of it. It's cut on the lip, I think.
He may well be. There's some blood coming from the mouth of Daniel Lovett as Adrian Bellin looks to open up the defences. They are pretty good defences of Daniel Porky Lovett.
Oh, lovely left grip by Bellin as well.
It was nice.
Great exchange.
That was very pretty from Daniel Lovett, finding himself out of the corner, not relying on the clinch and doing it with the left hand, turning his body nicely. Now Bellin opens up.
Going to be fighting out of reserve soon. That's how close they're staying. As they get tired, there'll be less movement.
They haven't had to go looking for each other, have they?
Porky's always in entertaining fights. He loves to have a brawl. I've seen him against Brett Curley. It was an amazing fight.
It certainly was. He's had a couple of fights with Joel Burke. One he lost via TKO in round 8. The other one he stopped Burke early. Joel that night in Newcastle was a late replacement, if memory serves me correctly. Nice pushing left hand there by Bellin, not too much forcing it.
Really amazed by Bellin, not showing no ring rust whatsoever. As if he's never been out of the ring.
A good rap there has to go to Paul Fifield, his trainer, who's been around the industry long enough and knows Daniel Lovett well enough to know if we're going to take this fight, there can't be any ring rust because we will get methodically opened up.
Work out of it.
It didn't appear, Hussey, that in the last break they did too much to the eye. It was, you know, a bit of a clean up and some Vaseline, but not a lot of blood. Not as much blood this round as I thought there may have been.
Well, luckily it stopped it. I would like to see more pressure on the eye for the more duration, then put the Vaseline after it. But you'll see it's annoying him. He's got hit on the eye and he's got the blink.
Number 3. Adrian Bellin was biting down on the mouthpiece. Starting to feel the pinch a little.
Same shit, mate. He comes out, doesn't he? Full of bravado, then he falls in a hole. All right? But stay tucked in, keep your head moving like you've been doing, and just box, box, box. When he steps back, he'll step back, mate, with his hands right up. Right? Right up. Right? Keep it nice and tight. Well done. Doing well.
Dan Lovett, just 23 years of age, and I've heard repeatedly, not just from Jimmy and Brian Slatter, the guys in his corner tonight, but other trainers around saying, look, he's a very talented young bloke, but the biggest thing he's got going for him, he's a listener and he respects the advice of people in and around the industry that have been there longer than he does. And I love seeing a young bloke get into a very tough sport with plenty of discipline and plenty of respect for guys that have seen a round or two.
That's right. I mean, that's what gets you there, you know, being a listener and taking advice from other people and trying them out yourself.
Daniel Porky Lovett in the blue trunks. Adrian Boom Boom Bellin in the black and red.
Porky's Lovett's corner wanting to box more and get on the outside, not to stay in there and mix it. That's exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to step back and box, which is the right choice.
Clubbing little short roundhouse right hand there by Adrian Bellin, but taking the punches well tonight as Lovett.
Good left grip again. He's working the body very well. Very impressed with the body punching.
Bellin sneaking through with a couple of right hands, but Lovett again is setting them well, turning Bellin around. He fires a couple of his own in. Again, it's the left hand of Daniel Lovett doing most of the damage as a trickle of blood starts to come from the nose of the man they call Porky. Both of these boys are going to know they've been in a fight.
Punches landing so cleanly. I can feel every single one of them.
Stop!
And that's it. I'm sitting out here, not in there.
Okay, okay. Box. Elbows. Right. Step back.
Little bit of niggle there from Adrian Bellin, just trying to upset the tempo and the rhythm of Daniel Lovett.
That's why he's effective inside, bobbing and weaving. That's what he's got to do more often, make it harder for Porky to set himself.
Lovett in the counter-punching role when he's back to the ropes. He's been outstanding tonight. A little wayward with some of his shots at this exchange as Adrian Bellin in the black. It's better from Bellin. Now trying to break apart the defence is Bellin. Nice left grip to the body. Just too slow there was Adrian Bellin in his reaction time. Lovett got out of trouble well.
Nice right uppercut by Porky Lovett.
Another little left uppercut, a creeper. And a good two-punch combination from Lovett. 10 seconds remain in this round. What a round it has been. Highlights for both young men.
That's it.
Yeah, good stuff here. And the challenge starting in Perth. Wherever you may be watching live around Australia, we hope you're enjoying the action. Let's have a look at some of the action from the previous round. Adrian Bellin unloaded on Daniel Lovett. This is some of what we saw in round number 4. And Lovett just so strong from the back foot, wasn't he?
Very strong, and he's got to do more boxing. He can't stand there.
Yep.
This is Bellin's fight. This is where he loves to be, and he's showing his strength.
Second down, we approach round 5 in one hell of a fight. Come on, be involved.
It's really entertaining for the crowd. They're absolutely loving it.
Just 12 minutes in. What has impressed me is the durability of Adrian Bellin. First fight in almost 20 months. I thought he would really be struggling by this stage because Daniel Lovett is a guy that takes the fight to you. He doesn't give you any rest. And that obviously is part of the Lovett game plan, but it seems to have almost played into the hands of Adrian Bellin.
He's still there and still strong. He's still coming forward. That's what Porky's got to do. He's got to let the jab go and move.
40 seconds into round number 5. In the second round, a cut and a nasty cut appeared over the right eye of Adrian Bellin. And his corner, courtesy of Paul Fifield, has done an outstanding job in stemming the flow of blood from that right eye. It's obviously a target zone for Lovett. A good but messy two-punch combination from Daniel Lovett to the abdomen of Adrian Bellin.
Well, he's boxing better now. Porky's really finding his range and he's not getting hit.
As we said earlier, Hussey enjoys a couple of inch advantage in both height and reach. Good left hand from both men there, hit simultaneously. Lovett's head was rocked back and sweat flew into the second row here in Perth.
Sit back. Right, boys, just hold up. I'll let you fight, okay? Let's go. What's the holding?
Bellin will be happy to hold on a little bit and niggle with the shoulder and try and force Daniel Lovett to the point of frustration.
That's what he's got to do. He's got to really come in close and then give Porky any room at all. Which he's doing great this round. He's boxing beautifully. He's found his range very good.
Right eye of Adrian Bellin is slowly starting to shut, so visibility could well become a problem if this contest goes too much longer, or if that wound is hit again. Looking for a double right uppercut, not a commonly thrown combination there by Adrian Bellin, but certainly did his best to try and break through the defences of Daniel Lovett. You wouldn't say he's got ultra-quick hands, a guy like Adrian Bellin. It's more in the Paul Smallman category. They're short punches. There's plenty on them too.
And hard as well.
Yeah.
Porky's really doing a good job now. He's really starting to box. His Bellin's starting to get tired. He's won this round very clearly.
Yeah, he certainly has, Daniel Lovett. A very good round, perhaps his most comprehensive. Round number 5. How much more has Adrian Bellin got left? It has been fought at a good pace. No room to rest. Very few clinches. That's round 5. Let's have a look at some of the action from the 5th round. Bellin with that double right uppercut. Lovett's defence has also picked up. A little bit more composure and a bit more structure in what Daniel Lovett did in that last round as we head into round number 6.
Okay, let's go.
Latter stages of the fight that is scheduled for 8. I see the options there for either man to take a couple of steps back and just slow the tempo of the fight and move away from their opponent. What we have here at the Challenge Stadium is a 22-foot ring, and it's a big ring by Australian standards.
It is a big ring, and I think Porky really needs to use every inch of it. It's his style of fighting. Bellin wants to be in close. He wants to fight in close, win the shorter man. While Porky can box and move and use it, it's going to be very hard and very difficult for Bellin to get in close and land those hard little short punches. You've seen it good in the last round where he done it very well.
Yeah.
But then every now and again he falls into that trap where he sits there and wants to fight.
And we just saw that there, and Bellin snuck through with a clean right hand. A good scoring shot from Adrian Bellin. Made his debut way back in 1996. Gee, it seems so long ago, with a 6-round draw with Zayn Ali over in downtown Bankstown. The Zayn territory.
I remember that fight very well.
Okay, break. Okay.
Daniel Lovett is now cut, I believe, over the right eye. So a target area now for a wild punching Adrian Bellin. Just lacking the finesse tonight, Bellin, but certainly that can be excused after so long out of the ring.
He's taking his punches very well. I mean, Porky Lovett's landed some tremendous punches with the body and head. Shows how tough Bellin is.
It's a Nader Hamden type fight, isn't it? In close quarters, a little bit of claret dripping from the cheekbone, and a wholehearted performance. We know that the Lionheart is watching tonight.
He's over there for cabbie mates. Hassan's place, all sit there watching around the TV, enjoying the fight night.
Remember, boys, you got to work in the morning. No celebrating tonight. Don't enjoy it too much. We hope you're enjoying wherever you are watching.
The boys are great supporters of Danny Green. They've come out to dinner with him and supported him. They like Danny, and they've glued to the TV sets.
Right eye is almost shut now of Adrian Bellin. Still staying rather square on as a fighter.
Okay.
Final 10 seconds, round number 6. A 10-second warning. Certainly every round seems to just spur Daniel Lovett on. Obviously part of the game plan is leave an impression on the judges in the final couple of seconds.
That's when the judge remembers the last couple of seconds most clearly. Pace has slowed down a bit. Maybe expect that.
You're a good man, mate. Not worth it, mate. No, it's not. Can't see anyone.
Can't see anything.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, mate. Good man. Good work. Thank you.
Adrian Bellin and his red corner. The fight has been stopped, and your winner is Daniel Porky Lovett. That right eye of Adrian Bellin, a massive concern. Try and get a close-up if we can of the right eye of Adrian Bellin. There's Daniel Lovett, whose record now increases to 15 bouts, 13 wins, and now there are 8 inside the distance, and you're going to hear a lot more about this young man, Daniel Porky Lovett. From the working class suburbs in Melbourne, Victoria, a concreter by trade, there is Adrian Bellin. And you're going to need more than just a little bit of ice and a couple of stitches to fix the right eye of Adrian Bellin.
Well, he gave it all for those rounds. He really gave it all.
Look at that. That's a beauty. He'll get more than a few looks at the airport on the way back to Melbourne tomorrow. Well, Adrian Bellin. Let's go centre ring to Howard Lee.
On the advice of cornerman Paul Fifield in the red corner for his fighter Adrian Bellin with rib damage, referee Gary Ingraham stopped the contest. End of round 6. Your winner, Daniel Porky Lovett.
Our semi-main event tonight contested at light heavyweight, and our winner is Daniel Porky Lovett. Both young men coming from Victoria, and he'll be a very happy boy boarding the Qantas plane tomorrow and heading back home with another victory under his belt. Again, that was at light heavyweight. And here's some of the action from the course of the 18 minutes these two warriors were doing battle. Both men with some good scoring shots, Hussey.
Yeah, I mean, some clean punches, some great body punching by both fighters. Just that ring rust probably got out of him, came out so hard.
Let's have a look at how the light heavyweights stack up around Australia. A very competitive division. In fact, our main event tonight will also